Alright, Kevin here for drawingandcoloring.com, and we are on our third installment, our third video of drawing a realistic eye. We're using a box, and everything can be drawn from the box. So we're using a box. We're going to do a few more installments of every part of the face is going to be able to be drawn this way. So this is the first one. This is going to be the eye. We've already done the outline. We first started with drawing a ball. We drew the eyelids over the ball. We kind of used the square for reference. We divided it into sections. And then in our second video, we went ahead and we added the depth to the eye. We shaded everything in. We did little squiggles for the iris. Gave it a little, some technique for filling in the inner eye. And then we really kind of laid down the base tone for these folds for the eyelids. And then we went ahead and we refined those lines a little bit. We even added a little shadow for the eyeball itself. Now in this video, we're going to just refine further. As you can see, there's something missing here. There's some eyelashes are missing, which will really bring it together. And there's just some more details that could be added in here. So this is really going to be the finishing steps in this video. You're going to see all of the little finishing steps to get this really done, and hopefully you've been following along. So I've been giving you some time to pause the video and go ahead with me. So hopefully you're at this stage, and so yeah, let's get started. So at this point, we still have to fill in this pupil. So we can just go ahead and fill that in as super black dark as we can get it, because that's really, there's nothing in there. We're not going to do any crazy highlights. We didn't have any kind of reflections too crazy in here. We're just drawing a basic eye, not using any kind of reference photos or anything. This is just a basic eye. And you kind of always want to leave a little highlight in there. It gives it that glassy look. So, as you can see, just filling that in takes it to a whole nother level all on its own. So, again, what we want to do is just go ahead and deepen those lines that we initially drew and give it some more depth. And that's what this does. It's making that solid outer line a little darker. It gives it that depth. And then if you take your pencil and you get it on the broader side, which is just a little duller. If you have a duller pencil, just take it, and then you did those little kind of lie detector grid lines in the first few videos. We're just going to go ahead and make them a little darker again. We're really just building up tone at this point. So we have the first lines, we have the second tonal line, and then we go over it again with the pencil. Just building up that tone. And this is where you really start to see the detail and layering come together. And then when you step back from this, you're really not going to be able to tell that it's... A lot of the times I step back from things I've drawn like this, they're more realistic than I even thought they looked, and they definitely don't look all that realistic up close too much. But that's kind of how the eye sees anyway. You don't see every little detail. You see just enough to get it going. And then your eye your mind and everything puts everything together for you. And then you just, oh, well, that's what I saw. I saw the eye. Alright. So you just can see, just adding that little, just taking the broad side of the pencil, going a little deeper with the tone, giving it that outline. And then you can even take the stump, as we, if you've been following along, we use that to get all of our main shading. You take the stump, you can even go you can soften those up too. And you can really, it's going to look like it does kind of neutralize the tone and the depth, but again, you can add as much tone and depth to this as you want. And the more you do, the more it will look realistic. You don't want to overwork it, but the more tone you can add, more contrast, the better your drawing will be. You can even It's almost like a sunburst, like an explosion. And you don't even have to draw it perfect. Like you can see, I'm just kind of scratching around in there. The more, not everybody's eye looks perfect. You could draw the iris all day. It's one of the most interesting parts of the eye. So as you can see, that looks pretty decent, pretty good for right now. So then we just want to go ahead and define these lines again. And like we said, what's the main thing missing is the eyelashes, right? So whenever you draw on the eyelashes, you want to draw them. And you can notice how we drew everything else first, and then we would the eyelashes, just because they go over. You're going to want to think of the layering. If you take the eyelashes, you don't want to draw them in individually. You draw them in kind of clumps. And if you look at your eye, they kind of do like a sweeping motion. So you want to do it, this is the inside of the eye. You want to do it away, like it's coming towards you. So as it's almost, they're going this way, this way, this way, this way, towards you, and then they go that way. So the more you can simulate that, the better it'll look. And since we drew the rest of the eye, and obviously the eyelashes they are not huge all the way in unless you have really luscious lashes, but if you can see how they just do. You can even throw little irregularities in there, make them flip up. Some of them are flipping, some of them are just coming straight towards you. Just kind of have fun with it. You don't want to go overboard with them. Not everybody has super luscious lashes. But that's kind of the general idea of how to get them done. And it's a little harder when you're looking directly because you kind of go like check marks almost, kind of towards you. But the eyelashes on the bottom, they're going to be a little less clumped together. There's a little less of them. So if you kind of start, they don't always, there's kind of this little eyelid ridge here that they kind of sit on. You can just kind of sketch that in just to give it some depth so you'll have something to draw on. And then with these, just kind of want to do, you can do one or two on these, but you kind of want to do little triangles. You don't want to go overboard. You definitely don't want to do as thick as up top. You're kind of just going to do little triangle lips that are hanging over. And you can have like those little one or two that are kind of in the middle. And then there you go. They're almost like this. You can draw that. If you can see that, I'll draw it bigger. If you can do that, it's almost like a series of crosshatches that are just. And you might even want to just practice that on the side of your page, just so you can see if you can get them right before you go laying them down. And like I said, around here in this part, you can see how it goes. That's kind of how the eyelashes are there, but a little more rounded. And you can see how they do that. So that really is all of the major spots of the eye. You can if you look at your eye, see different folds or different overlaps. The eye is actually kind of boxy. You can make it a little more boxy. But there's always going to be these folds of skin that give it that depth. Okay. There you go. And we can even come in a little further here. Give it some more depth. Get a little darker with these. Like I said, if you use the outside edge of this, you can get a lot subtler tone. And you can also get a really nice skin tone if you do circles like this. It gives it a nice texture, and It actually gives it a very even tone. This is one of those finishing touch moves. It just kind of brings it all together. You do that up here. And since it's round and it's kind of going over, you really kind of picks that up so you can really kind of see it. And go a little lighter in the inside just to suggest that there's some depth and shadow in there. And there you go, there's an eye completely from start to finish, and hopefully you've been following along with me. If you had any questions or things that I might have missed or kind of glazed over that you wanted a little more detail, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. I'll be glad to maybe make a video and see if we can address those or give you a response directly. But that's really it. It started from a square and a circle, and then a few more circles, and that's all it really took. And now we have a realistic looking eye from start to finish with all the fixins. And all we did was we did all of this with 2 tools. Well, if you want to count the ruler. So I hope you enjoyed that one. There's going to be a few more coming up with the different parts of the face, so I hope you stay tuned for those, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Yeah, so I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.